It's Danny Fleming of the MA Properties Online team. We're here with Coffee with MA Properties Online, and we've got Marcus Collins of the team here to answer one of the questions that we have in a booklet of top 10 questions to ask a buyer's agent. And today Marcus is going to cover how do you advise clients on what price to offer?
So this is probably the number one question we get asked by clients. How much should I offer for a home? And actually it's a very difficult question to answer, as you can imagine, in a competitive market. Not as difficult in a non-competitive market, but in a competitive market, quite difficult to come up with an answer. So as with many of these questions, kind of two-phase approach. First one is really around education. Really allow the client to understand some of the key metrics we have out there, like Zestimates, assessed value, appraised value, difference between market value and list price, and so on. Understanding what those key metrics are. Another key metric is the sell price to list price. That ratio, if we have a number that's higher than 100%, clearly a very competitive market, less than 100%, a less competitive market, and so on. So really get the client to understand those key metrics and understand those that are meaningful and then those which are not. First phase. Second phase then is we can begin to say, right, here's our home. Let's compare it to properties that have sold in the area, in the town, that are relevant. So same number of bedrooms, perhaps same number of bathrooms, maybe a different style of home, but something that a buyer might look at and say, yes, I would have bought the home we're interested in, but I also would have bought this other home too. So you're looking for relevant homes. And based on that, then you can come up with a price for the home. So two-phase approach. First one around education in terms of, is the Zestimate what I should be offering? Is the assessed value what I should be offering? That's the first question, to put those ones to bed. The answer to both of those is no, by the way. And then the next phase of that is really to do an analysis of the candidate home, if you like, in comparison to other sales that we have in the area. So two-phase approach is the way that we come up with the price that we think a potential buyer might offer for the home.
Thanks, Marcus. And as Marcus described, you can find more information about the top 10 questions to ask a buyer's agent is a newsletter that we have on our newsletters tab on our website, which is www.mapropertiesonline.com. You'll find that newsletter as well as a whole raft of other different topics are covered. We also have this booklet that you'll be able to pick up if you come to one of our open houses that talks about the top 10 questions to ask a buyer's agent, because that's key information. And one of the other sources of information you can get if you're a home buyer is our free home buyers seminar. We hold about 10 of these a year. On our homepage of our website, you'll be able to find the upcoming dates and information about what's contained in those seminars, and sign up, and hopefully we'll see you there, or we'll see you at another episode of Coffee with MA Properties Online. Thanks, bye.
Hi there, it's Marcus Collins here. Thanks for watching this episode of Coffee with MA Properties Online on YouTube. If you want to stay up to date with future episodes, click subscribe just below me, or click on this list to see lots of other great videos. Thanks for watching.